Welcome back to the channel. We're just going to be continuing on with the MX-5 again. In the last video we got all the parts zinc plated and cleaned up. So we got a few of them here, bits and pieces. We've got them all zinc plated that we can now put them on. Now we can go ahead and get everything back on the engine bay. So here is where we are at in the MX-5. We've got the radiator on. Most of the engine parts are all bolted on as well. We've just got a few random bits that we need to put on. So I'm just gonna go straight in this video and go ahead and start bolting everything up that we cleaned up in the last video, and hopefully we have everything to get the engine bay sorted and possibly getting it started. Okay, so I just got the exhaust all bolted up, or slightly bolted up there, because I was getting this EGR valve on. So with this new manifold here, so with this new exhaust manifold, I got it from eBay. So if you have an EGR valve, this here connector piece, this part is not the correct angle. It's angled like this, and it's meant to be angled like that. So it was like completely straight. You can see it's kind of bent slightly now. So I was able to just bend this. I heated it up a bit, and then also on the peat part, there's a middle bend on the EGR, which I just heated up as well. It's stainless steel, and I just bent it in the vice grips, and that it was able to extend it just enough where it would bolt up. But in order to bolt it up, I had to have this manifold loose, and then had it angle it slightly because this wasn't bent still enough, and I didn't want to bend it too much in case it would start cracking at the weld. I'm not sure if it would. Just bend it as little as I needed to. So what I did is the exhaust manifold, I had the bolts out, and I pulled this side out so it's angled like that, so I gave that more angle, and then I bolted up this side first, and then I bolted up on the intake side as well. Where is it? There it is. There's the intake side. So I bolted this up after. Then I bolted down the manifold, which I just put a few screws in there to test. I could probably get a better exhaust, but this one was pretty cheap. So if you want to go a cheap one, you're most likely going to have a problem with the EGR. But if you don't have an EGR, you'll have no problems with this. Okay, so I was just trying to start it there. We're getting some backfires, and it's just like the timing is off. So this is like the next day from me trying to start it there earlier. The car wouldn't start. It was backfiring. And so it would try and start, and then it's like, so fuel's getting in there, but then it seems like the sparks aren't sparking at the right time. So I did some off camera. I was looking, pretty sure it was the crank sensor on here, sensor down here, down there this sensor here, which controls the timing of the sparks, I believe. So basically like a distributor, you can move this to adjust the timing, and I think the one I had was damaged, so this is a new one replaced. And there's a little timing wheel behind the crank pulley, and it has little notches, which is what the sensor reads, and then you have to gap this correctly, and hopefully that is the problem. And I'll show you the old one. I thought this is probably not right, as you can see. So this bolts down, this here, as you can see, it's been damaged, so it must have came loose from the bolt. Since there's only one bolt, it can swivel, so you got to make sure the bolt's tight, as you can see. So it must have been hitting the little notch or the little sprocket on the trigger wheel, so I'm pretty sure this was hitting that. So I guess maybe all the vibrations. So we got running. I just turned it off quickly because we had a little squeak. I'm not sure if maybe it just needs to be run a bit. I think it's this pulley because it was pretty hot, so I can see a bit of rubber has burnt off a bit. Pulley's not spinning, or I don't know, maybe the alternator is bad. Because it was squeaking before I did any of this work, and we put a new belt on before, and it would still squeak. So I don't know if the alternator is on its way out and it's bad. We may need to get a new one of them, but everything else is fine. And it seems that the crank sensor was the problem. So if you're having a problem with your car sometimes starting and then sometimes not, hard to start, it could be the crank sensor. It also could be the cam sensor. They seem to go as well. So we got that all sorted, so it's pretty much all back together and running. Just need to wait for the coolant thermostat gasket, and then we can put the coolant in and then get it all back together. Just need to bolt all the plastics up, bumpers, wings and stuff, and then we'll have a complete car. So I'm just going to end it here, and then once that all comes in the next video, we'll get it all sorted, get all the coolant in, get the system bled. That's it for this video, and I hope you enjoyed. We're getting nice progress now with MX-5. We should be working on this too much longer. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.